usually start R7, but I think today.
দেখতে the parts of getting a official একটা tournament site নিয়ে আসলো guys tournament ছাড়লো $10 কোটি 20 লাখ টাকার 22 লাখ টাকার টুর্নামেন্ট
Thank you once again, Yuki and Yunsul. And again, this is Neptune Lieutenant Garcia together with the Husky. We are your casters for today as up until the end. Meeting each other. There might be some instances in Battle Royale, but Clash Squad, this is the first time we are going to see Movistar R7 play. So hopefully they learned a lot from watching the VODs from Southeast Asia because that's where it started. From preseason up until the previous spring season, they are already bringing in the Clash Squad into play. Yeah.
হ্যালো ব্রাইট বারাদার ওয়েলকাম টু ব্যাক আবারও চলে আসলাম একটা নতুন লাইভ স্ট্রিম নিয়ে গাইজ ফটাফট জলদি করে চলে আসো গাইজ না অফিসিয়াল একটা টুর্নামেন্ট ছাড়ছে গাইজ
Also is the ban and pick system that the teams will
হ্যালো ব্রাইট বারাদার ওয়েলকাম টু ব্যাক
are they going to take out
গাইজ
the
কারা
board
কারা
in
জয়েন
case
হয়েছে
of
গাইজ একটা
using
কমেন্ট করে
those
বলে দাও
active skill? And I
গাইজ
think the same goes still applies though. They are going to
হ্যালো
have unique
আসসালামু আলাইকুম
active skill
ভাইয়া তুমি
and the
কেমন আছো
passives would help them make all those works. And you did mention about economy, so
হ্যালো
those pistol or no, I mean not pistol rounds anymore. It's shuriken rounds at this point because of the update that we have for this collaboration. The shuriken rounds would be a difference, especially with their accuracy as well as
গাইজ
the
যারা
range that
জয়েন
they have
আছো
to
তারা
fight in
জলদি
to
করে
get
লাইক করে দাও গাইজ আর
all
যারা নন
those
সাবস্ক্রাইবার
cash
আছো
to
সাবস্ক্রাইব
buy
করে দাও
more of the weapon that they
প্লিজ
need up towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I think that's very important too, right? We
যারা
also have
12 জন
the
ওয়াচিং আছো গাইজ
the
12টা লাইক
event
করে দাও না প্লিজ
exclusive,
গাইজ
mechanics. I would assume that we are gonna see the flying right into all the what do you call it, keepsakes for this Clash Squad mode. But of course, there is stakes. Just like every great ninja war, there's a stake. It's not just peace for your hidden village. It's also 40 grand US dollars for the champion, and a half of that for second place, 10,000 for third and fourth, and then all the way down to 4,000 for fifth and eighth. And if you are the grand final MVP, you get an extra 3 grand to your name.
Yeah, definitely. I
এই
mean,
10 জন
this is
আছো
something
জলদি
else
করে
to
একটা
really
কমেন্ট
look
করে দাও
forward to. The
গাইজ
moment you move up into the leaderboard, into that round, you are getting a bigger piece of the pie. And even if a grand finals MVP adds more to that, but you need to get into grand finals, you need to survive a little bit longer, not lose out on 2 matches, because that is the elimination factor that we have on this Clash Squad mode. before we move forward, we also have the
Hello
Naruto Shippuden
everyone.
special gameplay, as did mentioned by Husky. Drops, you activate the red moon. We also have the ninjutsus available. So those jutsus
Everyone,
that
this is
is
SAKIB
in
for the
game is
guys.
also available in Clash Squad, and did mention about the shurikens as our shuriken
Guys,
mode in
guys.
comparison to pistol rounds that we have. And there's also difference. It's not the Warbringers anymore. It's the Hidden Link Village as well as Akatsuki going against each other. And these are the teams that is participating for this Clash Squad battle.
Lost
So
are
guys, so I
Kyukazu,
live. Everyone
Literal
subscribe
United
कर दो
Esports,
please
EVOS,
guys.
Fluxo, Falcons, WAG, and Movie Star
Assalamualaikum
R7.
guys, যারা
And
এখন
funnily
আমার
enough, you look
লাইভ
at his
স্ট্রিমে
list,
জয়েন করে
only
আসো,
three of
তারা
them
জলদি
were
করে
eligible to
সাবস্ক্রাইব এবং
win
লাইক করে দাও
EWC. And those three of them, surprise, surprise, does not include
প্লিজ
both our
গাইস.
two-time world champion, nor our defending EWC champions. But that's Battle Royale, right? When it comes to Clash Squad, I think it's much agreed upon that Team Falcons are the team to beat up to this point. We'll see if that's going to be the case. And for those who are not familiar with our format, we are playing in Swiss round format. The easiest way to put it is that you win 2 series, you go to playoffs. You lose 2 series, you are out of contention.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you will be eliminated and you will not be proceeding in tomorrow's matches. Thus, the first round would be very crucial to make sure that you will get that 1-0 and also end it to the final 2 series that we have for today. But you didn't mention about Team Falcon, who is, I would say, Clash Squad champion for Southeast Asia, but they're going against Lost at this point, and we know how Lost is. In Battle Royale, they have put in so much aggression. And how did they put in all those aggression, all those points, is with those CQCs. And this is the name of the game of Clash Squad, CQCs overall.
Yeah, CQC, if you can't hack it, you're out, right? You don't have a second chance to buy your teammates back. You have to be able to man up and fight your way to the death. That's what makes it interesting, right? Really puts the fundamentals to the test, right? Gone you don't have to think about rotations too much. It's all about how you handle yourself in the heat of battle. And thankfully, at least for the first course of the entree, we start off with a bit of a more light tasting dish, right? Our movie star R7 is WAG. WAG, of course, the only team in this entire Clash Squad tournament, the show match that has not made it to EWC, but has made enough impact in SEA. It makes it interesting against R7.
Yeah, I mean, especially from the spring season we're in, I did mention this earlier. They almost got it against their opponents right there, and I think it's Evo's Divine who just took them out in contention, but there's still a fire from them. Movistar R7, though we don't have any details that we can say or in my record about their performance in Clash Squad, which did mention that they are part of EWC. They showed up even was part of the grand finals and is a good chance to really bring it on against the Vietnamese team. So let's see if the Latam region has what it takes right now. But Yunsul did point out a good way, a good point earlier because they are far away from their region, from their country. So there's a like home ground disadvantage or continent disadvantage as well as jet lag in the mix.
Yeah, that probably all is are going to start adding up. But you know what they say sometimes. If you are closer, if your home is closer to where the tournament venue is, the pressure is also higher. In this case, WAG's trip back home would be a hell of a lot easier if R7 knocks them out. But let's see how this one is going to play out. Both teams obviously locked in on stage. R7, I think, coming into this, sure there's pressure, right? When there's prize pool, when there's stakes, there's going to be pressure. But I think at the end of the day, you also look at it from a point of view that this is the first time, it's an experience, right? It's not often that they get to play in an SCA territory. And I think more so for movie star R7 compared to teams like Fluxo or Los, who at least Fluxo have stepped foot in SCA, but for the rest of the Latam or the Brazilian teams, it's very far and few in between. Map order this time, Bermuda, Kalahari, and Nextera, so we don't have 3 Bermudas in a row.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so much of Bermuda already, but we are still going to see that for game number one between these two teams. And I would love to see which or what active skill they are going to take out as well as use in this game. And that surprised me, the mentality of some of the teams, especially in this Clash Squad, even in Southeast Asia, how they choose their active skill can spell them winning this battle in, I would say, in multiple rounds. So that can also give a preview of what needs to be taken out on the next series. So that is something that they need to think about, and we are seeing some discussions as well between the players as well as their coaches, just to make sure they don't make a mistake in picking it out.
Yeah. And of course, for those who only saw the show match earlier on and don't are not really familiar with how the proper Clash Squad format is, we do have a draft. We do have abilities that people are going to band out. The draft, the compositions of the lineup that we are going to see. So a lot more depth is included. Then afterwards, we have the economy, the management. If you're bad at finances, this is where it's really going to start to hurt. If you, all in all your chips at round two after losing, you get a heavy buy and then you end up losing again somehow. That is going to bite you in the back. So I think that management is going to be a lot more important for both squads. And the venue still continues to heat up. It's like what? It's time is an hour behind us, right? So it is 4:20 p.m. there.
Still early though.
Still early, yeah.
Yeah. And you know how it is. It's a weekend though, so there's a lot more a lot more of survivors that will be joining them right there, and they're just in time. If in case they missed out the KOL match, they're just in time right here to watch the pro match. But we're seeing so much more. But let me take a peek on what WAG did use in the Sea Spring against Team Falcons the first round. They took out Steffi. They used Zane, Koda, Iris, and Homer into their active skills. So that's one thing that we might expect, especially if that is same in Bermuda. There's a lot of usage of Iris at this point, especially for the sniper. Just make sure that you get all those information in against your opponent and just time their movement to be able to take them down as quickly as that from a distance.
Yeah. I remember like Steffi was a huge deal. Steffi and the Iris were a huge deal in Clash Squad, and a lot of
Oh, yeah.
emphasis. Santino also, I think, was introduced into the equation when he was released. Like, sniper players love that. I know Limit was a big fan of Santino in his debut day. Russia too, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do wonder with Tatsuya now having that nerf, right? I wonder if people will still take him or they will still go for Oscar and then have the Skylar in, because I can still see the application of getting that knockdown reset. We saw that, I believe, from Lost, from Rigby during EWC, where he still rocked the Tatsuya, and actually it paid off. And sure, it's like 1 out of 10 rounds, but you can see the theory behind it. And I do wonder if it will work better in Clash Squad, where there's no revives.
Yeah, there's no revives. There's really no chance of losing out. But that would depend though. If like accuracy, if that is the case for Rigby, he does have the accuracy. So if he rush in, get that knockdown, he still has the refresh, and that's the good thing about Tatsuya right now. If you get a knockdown, that the Rebel Rush will refresh, and you have a chance to like pull away or go in for the next target. But if you fail, if especially with M590, the reload would be quite long. You might not be able to follow it up that quickly. So let's see if that combination specifically will be used at this point. For your point of Santino though, there's a change that has been done, adjustment that has been done. There's a limit on the distance, especially in the vertical distance, that Santino can be used. So I think it's 10 meters above ground that you won't be able to trigger that recall. so, so for those, especially for those guys, specifically in Solara playing Santino in TV Tower, that is for you. Because you keep hitting me so much from above and they just go back.
Yeah, it's a necessary change for sure. I remember back then, like people just send the clone, and it's like it goes so far away.
Oh yeah.
Of course, we also have our on-site commentators. And oh my goodness, is that you, Madara?
Dude.
Don't destroy the venue. It's just day one. No almighty push, no almighty attraction. Okay, don't use any of that. No shenanigans this time. Be a good boy, Madara.
Wait until
No, Madara
closing.
straight. Hey, what am I talking about?
Pain, that's pain. I mean, wait for a closing. At least you can take out, like, clear out the venue, clear out the mall.
He's gonna clear out the mall. If we gotta find out which team he supports, then we can avert disaster. Because I don't think the great sages will be there to help us this time.
The Great Sage and a great stage. I would say. Well, we're seeing a few more doing that, and a few fans. I love the emote booth. I mean, I would love seeing all of those people energized because you know how it is. In
Mhm.
a place just like this, there's a few games, but you don't see those energetic vibes, and that alone just gives you that vibe that everyone can catch up to. So like emotes overall, especially if you know the emote and you love to try it out, that's a place that you want to be.
Yeah, makes me feel young. I I well, we had a good time at EWC. Though I wish that there was more time to explore around because I realized that after I came back, after we left, and like I talked to my friends who were still there, and I realized how much I've been missing out in Riyadh. Hopefully, you get more time next year.
Which
Hopefully.
part? Outside the boulevard or
No, like
within the
even
boulevard?
within the boulevard itself, there's so many things that actually was happening. I didn't know that they had a full museum of all the evolution of gaming devices. So like your Atari into your
Oh yeah, yeah.
like the whole museum, and there's so many things that was on display. But the crowd, I mean, this is like what, it's Saturday, right? It's the weekend.
It's
a
Saturday.
lively place in Thailand.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess we are set. I mean, fist bumps overall. They are ready, and there we have it. The bands. This is what we want to see. Which active skill do they want to take out, and who is getting the first ban? Because you know how it is in draft. Like you go for a counter pick or counter ban based on your prerogative, and Sane will be taken out. So none of those buff, none of those extreme encounters that will be coming in, and A124 from the side of Movistar R7.
Yeah. So no sane. So not much difference from in the last time. I know the Sane was also pretty popular because the A124 ban and the Oscar instantly picked up. Would have been Tatsuya pre nerf. Right now it's going to be the Oscar. So we're going down to kind of the basics, right? We still have someone that can rush. Tatsuya gets picked up by Movistar R7.
This is what we're talking about. The counter, the counter picks.
I wouldn't say it's a big surprise, but it definitely is something that I can see being an option, right? You need someone to match the quote unquote aggression of Oscar, because back then people would they would open both Tatsuya and Cassie, and then they would see if you can win the gamble and get it on second pick. In this case, you get Oscar, Cassie, and then the Coda, which is also a huge commodity. But without Sane in the equation, those blue walls aren't as reinforced, and well, those you're not taking down duels as fast and you're not as tanky, which was a big deal back then when people were just first picking Zane and Cassie in the same rotation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one thing that would really help a team get a little bit tougher in those CQCs. But on the other side, Clue. So again, another counter to Coda. Coda with that information, Aurora Vision, wherein Clue has that tracing step. So both of them have a chance to get information of the location of their teammates. Chrono, though, with Time Turner, as you did mention, this is something that has been coming back, especially in Clash Squad, because of those CQZs. If you want to survive a little bit longer, especially if you're down on HP, you would pull out the Time Turner, and it gives you 10 seconds to recover, or probably target the opponent, or find a way to target the opponent before you head out.
And we immediately are seeing one of the advantages that WAG have with this composition is that they have ways to destroy blue walls, right? We're talking about the Oscar Valiant Dash, but at the same time, you also have great intel gatherers with Coda, Iris to a certain degree, and you have that generation from the Cassie Electrotherapy. Movie Star R7, they have Clue to trace footsteps, sure. They have Santino and Tatsuya to kind of reposition. They have Chrono as a defensive mechanism. But taking down blue walls is going to be one of the struggles that they might have to brute force through. And a part of me is thinking that WAG, because we're going on to Bermuda, if we are starting off at peak somewhere like on the shipping rig, they could pop a Coda, get the intel, and then have Cassie Oscar just go right in for attempted first blood.
Yeah, exactly. And well, Iris right there also with, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is often for X4 because he's a sniper. But I did mention, we talked about this earlier, that X4 might be trying a different role at this point. So let's see if that was just a fluke from what we've seen in their skirmish from before this day. But usually the sniper is the one wearing that iris that gives him the advantage. So there we have it. It's PLS 1 right now. It would be sniper, and surprise, surprise, Oscar will be used by X4. So I guess it is true.
Yeah, so it is true. And then we see Turbo coming in from Movie Star R7. He was not feuded at EWC at all. So it's going to be the first time we see him for sure. Very interesting, right? Because we put X4 in one of the Hall of the Greats when it comes to sniper plays in SDA. I wonder if this is just a Clash Squad role change, Clash Squad thing, or is it going to translate into the fall season? But either way, interesting development we've seen so far. I want to see if the experience that WAG has is going to be more than enough to take down Movie Star R7, or maybe they came in with their own plans as well.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, these adjustments, especially in terms of role, we've seen this before. We've seen, well, not really role, but like adaptability. We've seen this from Freedom United. We've seen them just wear a sniper, use a sniper, even if they're a rusher. So it's quite a reverse right now for X4 because he has been the sniper overall, but he needs to go for survivability. He's stuck going solo. I guess this is a good way as well to use that, or good avenue to use that as a training ground to make sure that he can fight back even if he sets a sniper in the team.
Yeah. What's the WAG players? Probably spotting fans in the crowd. Like the vibe. You can see that big change. We just had monitors and PCs on the stage, and now they're all removed. Just back to the good old Free Fire, good old mobile phone gaming.
Imagine it's only a few minutes though. A few minutes break, and they just managed to take it out.
We've all witnessed teardowns before, or at least like changes in the equipments when you make some changes on stage. Events is such an interesting field to be in. I remember not working, like being part of events even back in school, and then the amount of things you miss that goes on behind the scenes itself is it's just pretty overwhelming. Like people moving stuff around, changing out decorations and all of that. You gotta really give respect to the staff. They are definitely giving it their all for this event.
Definitely. I mean, given the fact as well that they have not just those equipment, but also like everything in the scene that is, I would say, different. Like the LEDs, you need to be careful with those as well. But I mean, how they set it up, how they make sure that everything is set up overall, production design. I would say that they've done so much in here. Kudos to the production design at this point for putting up this stage as well as clearing it out that quickly.
It's something that we have been repeating so many times. I think since 2021, since like MCP, like every season the graphic keeps getting better. The stage keeps getting more and more grand. They keep one-upping themselves. right? Like this it's pretty crazy how much work is being put in. I remember there was this show that I watched before, and they had performances in between, and something unfortunate happened. A dancer did a backflip and landed on an LCD TV. So that was quite it's quite a spectacle. But yeah, you gotta be really careful with these stage things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it was me, I'm already putting myself in their shoes. If it was me, I would need to do another job. But how can I get how can you get another job to pay for that job that you messed up? That's one thing though. Make sure you don't make mistakes.
Yeah, nothing. Even if you make mistakes, don't damage equipment. That's all I'm saying. You know, like the most you're allowed to do is trip over your headphone wires, right? Like actually unplug it or something, and then sure. But you drop the mixer, you break an LED light. That's a completely different story.
Yeah, bring down the stage. Not literally. Not literally. Just bring down the stage based on performance, but not literally bring down the stage.
That would be an extra. That would be like the least of your concern if the stage does go down. Let's see, like BRU on the scene too. They are going to be playing later on against RRQ. Where all the pro players are. So we spotted BRU. We're missing RRQ. We're missing Lost Falcons. The last one. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. Evos.
Evos. Well, I guess like for those in Thailand, I would say Falcons and Buram United, they have most of the fans, especially in this venue. So, and again, for the others, they are just like probably just chilling because you know how it is. Prize pool is involved, your reputation is involved, your pride as well as a preview of
Assalamualaikum
what's going
guys,
to
যারা
happen
সাবস্ক্রাইব
in
করো
the
না
fall
জলদি
season
সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দাও
is
প্লিজ
here as
গাইস।
well. So I think they're taking their time to focus, but for those who are confident, I would say Evos is probably also roaming around because how confident they are, especially with the EWC championship that they had. So I guess they would also, there will be a lot of fans out there looking out for them. But well, we are just waiting for the game to start. Look the setup out there. Again, it's quite different with all those LCDs, but the players are in their comfort zone. I would say at this point, the stage doesn't bother them, the crowd doesn't bother them. You see all those smiles. And one thing though is not quite sure if this is something shared, but all the players have a heartbeat monitor.
Oh, we have to see that stat, right? We have to have an API that pulls up
গাইস
the
ম্যাচ শুরু
heart,
হতে যাচ্ছে
right?
গাইস।
And to see how they are controlling themselves. And I can tell you, in heated moments in game, my heartbeat goes up. But I know there are some players that are incredibly
গাইস
stoic,
ম্যাচ
like
শুরু
it
হয়ে
doesn't
গেছে
phase them.
গাইস।
Wow. We need to implement that. Maybe some way down the road. Maybe for global finals, right? Heartbeat monitors is the next on the checklist. And wow.
Yeah, we have that now. We have that now. We're going to see that in a bit.
That's going to be so exciting. Here we go.
Yeah, well, R7 right now already on the flank, and this is the usual movement, especially in this part of the map. For WAG, though, most of the time, like teams going in on this side of the map don't go all in, but they want to end it quite quickly. X4 with the triple shuriken takes down Turbo. That's what I'm talking about accuracy of the sniper turned the Russian.
That is a mistake style. Of course, WAG, they're representing Akatsuki. They're taking the hit at Live Village. That's Minato right in front of them. Joker loses out. They're able to get a straight back. A nade in the hand. I didn't know that ninjas use grenades nowadays, but you know, times have changed. Secure into PLS1. Joker also being able to collect it. So far, WAG up in numbers.
Yeah, but numbers, Games King being hit by X4, Santino already being triggered just to make sure there's an escape plan for them. But they are rushing in against X4. It's a 1v1 situation, and there goes Santino being triggered to get away. But now WAG just says he'll take you down. Only one casualty, and they can retain all their loot.
He built on his teammate when they went in from a two-man rush. That is quite a funny start. But WAG getting the first round, Mini Uzi in hand. Finally bring out the big pistols. And Joker with a hero rifle.
Let's see though. I mean, economy wise, it's not really wise for Joker and Games King, but if they can give them that advantage, they will be able to use it at this point. Mini Uzi from the other side, PLS1 with the Deagle in his hand, and a Turbo already popping up with that chrono time turner. But let's see if this is something they can use right now. T Kui almost being taken down and barricaded themselves in. The question is, will they be able to take R7 in this engagement? Because PLS1's a little bit too far.
Wow, they somehow were able to get Joker. Because of Cyrus, Turbo I think getting knocked down too. Games King needs to make use of the rifle that he got, and so far it hasn't been paying off. They lost Joker, so one of that hero rifle is ready removed from the equation. Tikui and use to the body of Della, and Games King left alone. Not an economic investment, did not pay off at all. WAG up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, WAG won the first round, but they went in for the 800 just to get those mini Uzis, and they still have a lot in their pocket. So they can really switch it up right now. Turbo with a P90, and well, let's see if that would work for them. Same goes with Games King, and we have the Pyrofall on the hands of Joker. Great on long distance, great damage as well, but this is, unless you flank onto those silos or onto the bridge, that's the only time that you can get that open.
Or at least they do set themselves back slightly with that force buy. Whereas for WAG, they definitely put themselves in a more comfortable position. In the previous round, we see them use a lot of the clay bomb to try and force WAG into a rough spot. And for a moment, they did in the containers. But again, no capitalization on that was the undoing. The Mini Uzi fire rate at close range was just a lot more effective than those rifles that that R7 brought out.
I think I saw an AWM as well being pulled out and or being seen. But let's see though if this is something. It's PLS1 with AWM, and not so much of a range or opening for him to use it. But Joker already on that second floor or on the rooftop rather, and Turbo on the flank. R7 is securing the middle of the map, and WAG is just regrouping inside the compound, waiting for the blue to close in.
Remember, some of the red moon, you need to get 3 of the drops. I think WAG already got 1 of them, as indicated by the red dot. Slow round for R7. They don't have the best guns. You see, Mini Uzi is an assortment of guns. It's like a buffet that they have, but none of them are extremely effective. I think the silver lining is that, like you pointed out, Neptune, that this AWM doesn't really have. They have high ground too, the form of Joker, but they can't really get intel indoors, and that's where WAG can take advantage of.
Well, let's see now that WAG can take advantage of the shift of the circle, but the rest of R7 is already waiting for them to move. So let's see if this is something that they can use. There it goes. A few of those jutsus being pulled out. Just make sure that they have an opening or they will not be rushed out. Quickly Explorer ready for the flank. PLS1 might be in trouble as Joker jumps in on him, but no, they are still in a group, not even spreading around. There goes Oscar, and there goes a takedown by against Joker, and it is WAG losing out. Only two Tikui remains and will be going against Games King.
He is down in hell. Tikui! What a clutch! Right in the center of the zone, just winning with position. And this man, we have sometimes casted doubts on him. He's been with WAG for quite a while, but now he is the top fragger. He's 5-0-3 on the team.
That's the thing though. I mean, despite of having Rebel Rush, Games King doesn't have a chance against the blue. And like, I don't know, there's no way to really get in against Tikui at that moment, but 3-0, it looks like WAG is in a roll right now. But at peak, let's see if they'll be able to turn things around for R7.
One once more, WAG assumes control very quickly of key point. Creates like a fireball jutsu in the face. Blue walls, they're gonna stand just enough. In fact, somehow Della finds himself outside of the building. Wants to regroup with Turbo, but WAG is not making it look easy. And every single step they move is going to be able to chip damage. X-Bordo needs some time to heal back up. Both teams somehow ends up switching position. R7 outside of their own compound.
And there goes another fireball, brought in by Games King. Does have the Groza in hand, but not so much of the opening to fire at them. And there goes Koda being popped for our vision to give information. And X4 right now, just waiting for that opportunity. Doesn't have that much of weapon, only a Deagle in hand, Desert Eagle in hand. We'll see if he will make all those headshots. It's just that WAG is saving up for the opportunity if in case they lose a fight. And I guess this is where that is the strength of WAG in terms of Clash Squad is.
Well, if R7 keeps track of the cooldown, you know that WAG has a window of weakness, but R7 isn't really pushing the envelope just yet, so that cooldown will come back up in just a bit. Irish just got popped as well by Fearless. One goes to Gar right there. Now it comes to Run. Cyrus getting a one, but he can face him down. X4 traded back, but thankfully for the side of R7, this time they recovered just as well. WAG not able to withstand the full rush of R7, and that is what they need.
Yeah, that's what they need. I mean, the pickup is quick, especially if you have a Thiva on you. And Turbo is just a little bit buff with that Andrew. So let's see if this is something that they can carry over, reduce the lead, and probably take over against Akatsuki or WAG at this point. But as you can see, economy would be something that WAG has already taking consideration of. They lose this game, but they still have a cash to use the weapon. And we are seeing PS1 pull out that VSK 94, and he can take that second floor as an advantage. And I think he's the one putting damage on Kubo.
See, Games King once more having leverage. It's between him and PLS1, but PLS1 won't have vision of him. Another fireball jutsu, Santino swap, switcheroo as well. The clone to get the safety. Clone will be taken down very quickly by PLS1. They don't want to do with any extra decoy that R7 have been stored.
Games King from above, there's a deadly position, especially for this guy. The moment he jumps up, instant headshot might happen, especially with the P90. But the same goes with T Kui in that M1887. But as we can see right now, it is a standoff, a stalemate at this point, and PLS1 will need to move closer. But there's also one from R7 who's waiting for them on the other side.
Another slow round. It might just end with the circle being the deciding factor. Once I believe the second drop has been claimed by WAG, we see 2 dots already on the screen. Joker taking some chip damage, and WAG so far hasn't really been putting much emphasis on taking the high ground. There'll be no need to do that as they continue to chip Joker's health bar away. War is the one that's making life hard, and Joker is now pinned down. Here comes a full rush. Quick, getting punished by Games King. Was waiting for this moment his entire life on top of the roof. Cyrus also gets punished. The movie star 7. Patience paying off. They lose 2 members in the process, but no confirmed knock just yet. To the window, Della finds the knock and converts it to number 3. Equate left alone with no devices. Movie star 7 recovers and finds the second round.
Again, Games King is deadly at this point. Accuracy overall, 8 elimination already, plus Adela on the backup. Both of them has a P90 in hand, and with this win, they can afford to buy a Groza X, especially for Games King. MP40 for Games King as well. Now, up close and personal, as well as long range, this guy would be deadly, especially with Joker on the 8WM already. So let's see if WAG can bring this in. Otherwise, it will be a catch-up and they can tie it on the 3.
Seeing some similarities from when Falcons play in Clash Squad, right? Where you have Limit always posted up on the high ground, and you gain so much leverage just from that alone.
He was welcome guys, welcome to back. Guys,
Making
live
back up
stream
very,
जल्दी
very
करो चौड़ा
quickly
सुना
by the
guys.
Cassie electrotherapy.
मेरे कितना
Yeah, they
कष्ट
have a
क्या
lot of
रखेगा
intel
bro.
gathering tools, but it's also
मेरे
about
का
timing.
लाइव
When you
स्ट्रीम
press
का
the
वन
abilities,
बंदा
are you
नहीं
going to
आता
commit
है.
to it? Because there's a long downtime in between. Games Kings now will be under threat. They want to flush him out. X4 dashes forward, looking for Della. Was able to make his way around the corner to escape. Decoy holding the back. Games King somehow still alive.
And still alive. Games King doesn't have an opening right now. He needs to recover, and that time would be the downfall for Della. But Della slowly recovering from those damage, and R7 moves away. These fences will be saving them, and Tikui takes advantage of the pop. Della and Turbo is gunned down, but Games King will be followed up by PLS1. It is now a 1v1 situation. Let's see if PLS1 can bring this on. It's a BSK against BSK.
Battle of the snipers. It was Minato against Madara. Who's going to take this one? Of course, Joker does have a bit more health to work with. PLS finding it to recover. Joker retrieved Della. Decides to not go for it. Takes the fight straight on. Takes the initial shot. PLS with the outplay. 2 accurate shots to the chest is all it takes. WAG up 4-2.
That's one thing though. I mean, AWM up close and personal, you have the damage, but you like the reload is quite slow compared to BSK. M59 in. We know how it is with the snipers. They're quite accurate at that point. But with this Remnant Village, this is more of a sniper's venue, especially if Joker can flank in on the other side. That would be an opening against WAG.
We've seen greatness from Movistar R7, and even against the strongest on the global stage, they have put out quite a performance. X4 this time stood no chance
First blood.
as they swarm him. You see even a fireball juice straight to his face. Not really sure if that was needed, but better be safe than sorry. As they bring the barbecue, goes the rest of Rimnam Village. Cyrus needs time to recover, doesn't find it. Another fireball to the side of the building. Games King is pulling no punches.
Ooh, Games King for the hit, but he will be taken out by PLS1. But only one remains. The 1v2 situation. Tikui will be picked up, but I think Games King right now is up close. But no, Della managed to take down Tikui, and Joker breaks PLS1. Now, a chance to tie it up once
Assalamualaikum
again.
guys, चौड़ा
And I
सुना
love how
guys.
R7 is recovering at that
Guys,
point.
live
But
stream में चला
WAG is just getting
सो
one
bro.
point. They just countered them with a different approach, a different tactics, just to make sure that up close and personal, they would win against WAG.
Guys,
And
এই
this is the
এই খেলাটা
explosiveness
শেষ হলে
from
শেষ
R7
লাইভ
too. I
স্ট্রিম বন্ধ করে
don't
দেবো.
think WAG was ready to receive a hit that fast and direct. You see how disorientated they were in direct contact. FGL just to take out that wall, even the play box, excuse me. James King making contact. X4 losing out on the trade. It was a 1v3 by the way, and X4 somehow on the receiving end, and he is actually taking down the burn. Is it gonna be enough? No, X4 barely recovers.
বিয়েতে এলে বোরকা বইরা সব বিদায় দিবি কাগজ তো যেটি করবি দিবি কেমন